one of the biggest misconceptions I see a lot of entrepreneurs make, or misconceptions that I see a lot of entrepreneurs have, is thinking that a strategy is one only for larger companies. The other misconception I see a lot of small entrepreneurs think is that a strategy is something you put in place one time. There's a lot of misconceptions that go around in terms of there's a lot of misconceptions that go around in terms of what a strategy is and how that reflects in their business. And a lot of entrepreneurs tend to overlook it, right, when it comes to growing their business. Over time, I remember when I first started doing strategy with businesses, with entrepreneurs, I started to notice that they wanted to gloss over the strategy and get to, I want a logo, I want visuals, which totally understand. It definitely makes an impact. But it makes a bigger impact when we're able to kind of think about what we're doing, and when we're also able to have visuals that align with what you stand for as a company. And I found that for me personally, it helps me to design better when I have a deeper understanding of a business. And then along with that, it also helps the business owner to have a better understanding in terms of how they need to start thinking about their business and what they're doing. A lot of times entrepreneurs want to jump to point C without finishing point A and B, and I'm going to tell you why that is going to hurt your sales at the end of the day. There's the other thing I see a lot of entrepreneurs do is that when they see when they notice that when they realize, okay, yeah, I want visuals, I want a logo, I want to look cute, I want to show up on social media, I want to be all the things, but then at the back end, they're not really paying attention to why you stand out in the industry. Now, what I've noticed is that a lot of entrepreneurs, they like their thing, like they know their thing. Okay, one thing y'all be knowing is what your thing is. So if you're in the chat right now, what is your thing? What do you do? What is one thing I've realized a lot of entrepreneurs know is they understand their industry, they understand what they're doing well. Now, the other part where I have to come in and help is that I have to come and say, okay, yes, you're doing this thing, but guess what? Other people are doing this thing too. Other people are doing the thing too. So now we have to figure out, how can we do the thing like us and be intentional about it? 9 times out of 10, you want to grow a business and you want to have this business where you have people employed and you have all these clients and you have all these things. But then the issue is that you don't really have a plan in place for that, number one. And you also you're not positioned for people to view you in that way. And that is where the strategy comes in, being able to bridge the gap between what you're currently doing and where you want to be, and creating a path to get there. For me, it's when I'm helping clients create a path, it is typically in the online space. So I help clients figure out how they can stand out and how they can create different spaces to stand out online specifically, right? So whether that be Instagram, whether that be on social, on wherever it is, it's about really just making sure that you are doing it in a way where you don't look like everyone else, right? Which brings me back to what I was saying before in terms of the fact that you have this business that where you know your industry, you know your thing well, but we need to help you to figure out how you can stand out amongst the other people who are doing the thing that you are doing. Right now, there's a million different ways, but one of the ways that I want to speak on today is going to be mostly one of the first questions that I tend to ask people when we have our consultations, right? So for those of you who do not know, I do consultations with clients. I've actually recently started just intentionally doing our long consultations, because I actually noticed how it was able to help take people from, just doing stuff because, I saw this person do it. I saw that person online do it. I saw, that seemed to work for them. It kind of takes you from being in that space to being, oh, okay, I understand my industry, what I'm trying to do, and now I know what I'm supposed to be doing for me, right? One of the things that I know for myself I had to get out of was, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. I mean, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, within reason. Hi, if you are joining me, I want you to put in the chat what you do, and what you do, and who you are and who you serve. I usually like to know those two things. Now, one of the things that I have, so when it comes to my consultations, one of the things that I've noticed really makes a difference is when people understand their specific industry, not just what the thing that they're doing, when they understand their industry on a more intimate level, so that they can now act and walk and speak in a way that separates them from their target audience. And once again, that is just something that a lot of businesses kind of like, a lot of entrepreneurs, they think they're too small. They're also just thinking, oh, I need to get some sales, right? Like, a lot of the times, like, entrepreneurs are just like, oh, I just want to get some sales. When I get sales, when I get some money, then I'll be able to do the thing. When I get some sales, then I'll be able to XYZ. But guess what? We are not out here trying to build brands. Like, at least if you're following me or if you care about what I'm doing, you are not here to build a brand. In Branding with Rika Corner and Instagram, we are not here to build brands that are like Indian stores, that are just doing things just for the sake of doing them. We are here to build intentional brands, right? We are here to build brands that are going to leave, that after we leave, they still exist, they're still running, they're still doing things. That's the kind of business owners that I like to work with. And we want to build Nike type brands. We want to build Apple type brands. We want to build brands that are going to be sustainable. And guess what? A lot of those brands have a strategy, right? Like, they have a plan, and they have it can't only be, oh, I'm trying to get some sales, because yeah, you're gonna get some sales, but then what are we doing here, right? Also, strategy helps you to get your sales faster. Bottom line, that's just the truth. It really does help you to get your sales faster. I remember when I was starting out and I was out here like I actually did not post online for years because I didn't understand. I was like, yeah, I'm good at what I do, but like, and what? You know what I mean? Like, and what? So for me, strategy has changed my business. It helped me to be able to show up in an intentional way, to intentionally attract who I actually want to work with. And it also helped me to be intentional about what I'm saying to people. And then after that, my colors flowed and all the other things flowed, because let me tell y'all, I was out here a hot mess. And I'm a designer, right? I'm a designer, and being a hot mess. So I can only imagine the mental block that a lot of you entrepreneurs have when you are starting off your business, or trying to get sales, or trying to get clients, or try to establish yourself as some form of an authority. I can only imagine what that feels like, because you don't even have the background and the understanding that I have when it comes to growing visuals, right? Which is why we are here. So let's get to it. So I actually had a client when she started out. When she started working with me, she's a psychologist, and you know, at the time she had like a few therapists that worked with her and stuff like that, but they were just kind of doing things. It wasn't very intentional. So Jasmine's Corner says, hello, I make long-lasting friends for kids. I love that. And now working on that part for my business. So schedule a consultation, because it might be time. I actually did her branding. It's cute. But it might actually be time, because once again, one of the misconceptions that a lot of small business owners had, I think that was one of the first things I said, is that they believe that strategy is something we did one time. So yes, we had our strategy and it helped me to build out your visuals, but now you may be in a different phase where you need more clarity on a different direction, or maybe you just need to understand exactly what you need to be posting on social media. Maybe you just need to have a plan to make sure how do I get these people from social media off of social media, right? So that in those moments where we don't feel like selling online, that we have an email list that we can refer to, or we have a specific plan or something in place to make sure that everything is not relying on putting something out into Instagram and hoping somebody sees it. We don't do that over, once again, in Branding with Rika Corner. We don't do that mess, okay? We are about taking people off of this platform to make sure we convert them into people who are emotionally attached to what we're doing and growing brands that people care about. She said she'd call me right after. Yeah, I love working with you, so that is totally fine. You're love your energy, but you already know that. So that is one thing. So I had my client. She's a psychologist. She has some psychologists working with her. They have had a space set up and everything, but online it wasn't giving. Okay, just wasn't giving. Like you know when it's not giving. Okay. You know when it's not giving you what it needs to give. And while they were doing things, they were just kind of fuddling around. And so the first thing she did is that she scheduled a consultation with me, and we were able to figure out what how can we take what she's doing, or probably has something in her mind rattling around, or maybe kind of doing stuff but not very intentional about it. So we were able to have the consultation. At the end of that consultation, she had based on where she was, we actually did different consultations, to be fair, but by the end of those consultations, at the end of each one there was a goal, and so in total at the end of the consultation, she already had a logo and some colors that I actually did. And then we had to take that and turn it into some brand assets. So that's what we did. We were able to help her figure out. I actually met with her social media manager, and that's something that a lot of people don't know. Like, if you already have somebody managing your social media, if you already have somebody doing the things, like, sometimes they also need guidance to understand how to use your assets and your brand assets. So for me, in that context, I met with her, and I'm actually meeting with another client. I'm actually meeting with another social media manager to help them to figure out how do we maneuver these new brand assets that we have, right? So we were able to sort out what is she supposed to be saying to these people? Like, having an actual content plan, and then also we were also able to figure out, I was also able to give her some layout tips and layout ideas in terms of how she needs to lay out her social media, how she needs to lay out each post. So we were able to do, based on where she was in her business, we were able to take her from where she was to another phase in life. I have another client where we, once again, did the whole consultation thing, and now she's able to set up an automated system to make sure that she's able to get these clients into her business, right? So everything is always a process. I don't sell get rich quick energy, because in real life it takes time, right? It might take 30 days, it might take 90 days, depending on where your business is at. It might take 3 months. It really just depends. But I don't believe in selling like, oh, right away, immediately, you're going to get a flood of people. I don't think that's real life unless you have a really large budget for ads. And most of the entrepreneurs that I work with are kind of working it out on their own. Some have a budget for ads, but some are working it out on their own. And for that reason, you need to be realistic about what you're putting in and what you're going to get out based on what you have to put in, right? So at the end of that, she was able to speak more clearly to her audience. At this point now, I actually just do her social media, but she was able to speak. Even before that, she was able to have an understanding of what she needs to be saying to her audience, how she needs to look to do that, and what are the different kind of things that we can sprinkle in to make sure that while we're speaking to our audience, that we're doing something with a little twist, right? That we're doing something a little different. And people are not always able to articulate what that thing is, but what they do notice is that you're standing out. What they do know is that they remember you. It was like a few months after we were, when we were doing her social media, people were contacting her. Like, people were stopping her therapist on the street, but like, hey, you work at XYZ. Oh, I love you guys' page. I love your content. And then they were just referring people to them. The other thing that happened as a result of these consultations and understanding what she stands for and intentionally speaking about that and showing up visually in that regard is their system went down. And it happened before that their system went down, but their system went down, and this time people noticed that their system went down. Like they actually ended up having to do a video and explaining what is going on, because before it wasn't a big deal when the system went down. It was just like, oh, okay, we'll just fix it. But this time people were noticing, people were calling, people were trying to figure out, why can't I schedule? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do what I need to do in order to work with you? And that happened because she had a strategy. That happened because she had a plan. That happened because they understood how they wanted to stand out in this space that they exist in. And they were and we were helping them intentionally show up as that. Okay. So that is one of the reasons why strategy is incredibly important. Understanding why you exist in this space is important, and being intentional about throwing in those tiny little things that we figure out through our process to help you to stand out and look and start to represent your brand in the way that it deserves. Because once again, we not out here trying to build Indian stores. Okay, we are here trying to grow long-lasting Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola energy type brands, right? Things that people have an emotional connection to, and where people feel like loyal to your brand. It is way more costly to keep finding new clients, than it is to it's way more costly to find new clients than it is to like keep your old ones. And brand loyalty strategy, encourages brand loyalty. It breeds brand loyalty, because having a strategy helps you to speak directly to the people who care about you. Everyone, I can't say this enough, everyone will never purchase from you. Ever. Everyone will never purchase from you. But there are a select few who will forever purchase from you. And those are the people that you need to be intentionally speaking to and speaking about. And so I want to leave you with a few questions that I want you to ask yourself right now. I want you to look at what your competition is doing, right? Who are the other people in your space? I want you to take a look at what they're doing. And I want you to take a look at what these people are doing, and what do you disagree with that they're doing, right? What do you see? I'm like, I don't offer that. I don't do it like that. Even if you're offering the same thing, but you don't do it like that, that's a selling point. That is something to talk about. Take that thing and talk about it. Okay. What would you want to do better? What would you want to improve on? And 9 times out of 10, I always get people who think that this means that, who is this? It's a great day. I'm a newly licensed life insurance professional in California. I have worked in the mortgage servicing field for the past 20 years. My goal is to serve and educate families. I absolutely love that. Okay, so now I have a question for you. What happens right now? What is happening right now in your industry that you disagree with? Or what do you want to change within what your industry is? I'm going to finish talking, but I am looking forward to seeing your response to that. And whoever else is on here as well, what are you doing? And what do you disagree with right now that's happening in your industry? So that is that. Right. So I want to know, what do you believe in that you would like to incorporate into your business? What do you personally, we have the privilege as entrepreneurs, it's not corporate, right? It's not a group. It's you. You're the entrepreneur. You get to take pieces of the things that you stand for, that you believe in, and sprinkle them into your brand and sprinkle them into your business so that you can start showing up in a different way. I always tell people, I see businesses or brands rather as people, right? And what does that mean? Brands have, for example, the face is the logo. The way we dress is our visual identity. The services is maybe something that we do well, but you know what makes that the soul of a person? The things that we stand for, the things that we care about, the things that we do that we kind of just don't think about. That's the soul. And for me, I see businesses as people. You know, like I ask the weirdest questions in my strategy sessions just so I can understand how do I, like in my head, the way I understand it, how do I turn what you have, your services and stuff like that, into a person. Right? What's your personality like? Where would you hang out at? Like, I ask the weirdest questions, mostly because I want to make it fun, but also all of those are things that help your brand to connect with people, especially when you're using social media, especially when you're in the online space and you're showing up as an entrepreneur for your business. You have to pour pieces of the things that people like about you. You have to pour that into your brand, and that is the little secret sauce of creating the soul of what you're doing, right? So I give you y'all some top tier tips right now. If you're able to take those and implement them, I promise you, eventually you will start to see a difference. People will connect with what you're doing because you are connecting with something that's within them. And at the end of the day, we're all selling to humans, and we all need to connect with humans, and we all need to care about humans, right? So that is essentially that. If you don't know me, my name is Rika. I am a brand strategist and a design consultant. I've been in this field for over 12, 13 years now. Oh my gosh. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I absolutely love working with entrepreneurs to help them to see the light, to see the light of their brand, to see what they're doing and help make what they're doing come to life, not only through their visual, not only through the messaging and making sure that we're speaking correctly to the people that care about, that we care about, but also, well, that care about us, but also in terms of representing visually. So I also build out logos, I give brand assets, and making sure that you have like certain backgrounds and certain things that help tell the story of why you're here and what you stand for. And I especially love to do it when it comes to the online space, because it's so fun to be able to take like a service that, like, we had someone earlier, who is it? Jasmine, we had someone earlier who says that she makes long-lasting friends for kids. So it's just so much fun to take, yes, I'm making these hand-knitted teddy bears or like stuffed animals, but now taking that and making that come to life and giving it purpose and meaning and connecting with people. And I just also want to say that the reason why she's able to say I make long-lasting friends for kids was because I actually did her branding. And that was one of the things that we spoke about in our brand strategy sessions. And we also spoke about like building